You're listening to Seen from the Inside. I'm your host, Neha Negandhi. Today in the studio with us, we have the daughter of a civil rights icon. He is Hosea Williams. But not only is she the daughter of a civil rights icon, she can also be considered the daughter of the civil rights movement, because she marched along with her father and many of the other civil rights leaders and was arrested during the movement herself. She carries on her father's legacy by now being the CEO of the nonprofit foundation that her father founded called HOSEA Feeds the Hungry and the Homeless. Please help me welcome Elisabeth Williams Omilami to the show.
Thank you.
We are so thrilled, and right alongside her we have her husband, Alfeo. Am I saying it right?
Alfemo.
Alfemo, I love that. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to call you Mr. O, and then I'm going to call you Mama O. Okay?
That's right.
That's right? Okay, fair enough? It
That's
all works?
what we like.
Okay, see? We're already a little family now.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, okay. So, like I mentioned, Hosea Williams started the nonprofit organization Hosea Feeds the Hungry and Homeless in 1972. So what inspired your father to start this organization?
Well, he was on the staff of Martin Luther King. He was his national field organizer, which means his job was to go into all these little towns, whether it would be north or south, because he spent a lot of time in Philadelphia and Chicago and civil rights efforts in those cities, and he would teach the people, he would get the people ready to change. Mostly the white people that were on the side of the integrationists and the black people who weren't afraid to come out, and many of them were very young people, and it was his responsibility to educate them and preach them and get them ready to march and get them ready to get beat. Right. Get them ready to give their lives if necessary.
To be arrested.
Yes, to be arrested.
Right. But to be part of the movement, to be part of the change, to really stand up and have their voice be heard.
Absolutely. That's an incredible responsibility to have over and over and over again from town to town to town.
But for Dr. King to bestow that responsibility on you is such an honor.
Yes, it was.
It's such a something to say about who your father was.
Yes.
When you have an iconic man himself, Dr. Martin Luther King, to say to you, please go lead the way.
Yes,
Get these folks ready, because we're coming.
Yeah.
We're coming to make a change.
There
right?
you go.
Yes.
I mean, we were living in Savannah, and he had been working there, and Dr. King said that he was the man singly most responsible for integration in the Southeast. So that was his reference to my dad, and of course, when Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1968, it just blew through his staff here in Atlanta like a whirlwind. I mean, from Leon Hall to Andrew Young to Jesse Jackson to Bernard Lafayette, all those men and women, Dorothy Cotton and my mother Juanita. I mean, they were looking now, what do we do? Our leader has been killed, shockingly so, in front of us in Memphis, Tennessee, marching for garbage workers. The least of these, head blown half off. What do? We come back to the office and trying to figure out, well, okay, who's the leader now? And so they were just, it was such a traumatic event that I cannot explain to you. It was almost like post-war syndrome that those civil rights leaders had, because it was known, I believe, among them that it was possible that Martin Luther King would be assassinated. But I don't think any of them would say they expected it that day in that movement in Memphis. So he was walking down the street, Auburn Avenue, and he was just, wandering with Tyrone Brooks, and he saw a man eating out of a trash can. And he said, this kind of hunger should not is this guy real? For real? What, man, what are you doing? Or do you have mental issues, or what is it? And man said he was hungry. And so, as I tell the story, he went that fish market. Yasim's Fish is still there today. That my dad on Auburn Avenue.
Auburn Avenue in Atlanta. Some might consider that old Fourth Ward neighborhood.
That's right. Okay. That's right. And he took him in and got him a fish sandwich, and the man ate through the wax paper and the brown paper to get to the food. Goodness. He hadn't eaten in days, it seems. And so that was a revelation to my father, who went across the street right then that day. He was a man of action. He didn't let things lie. Sometimes he'd move too fast, impetuously, and I have a lot of that in me. My husband, a female, balances that out for me, because he's the thoughtful, methodical one, and I'm the let's go do this, let's go to Savannah tomorrow, let's go. But he went across the street and he started feeding 100 men every week at Wheat Street Baptist Church. Williams Homes Borders is the pastor there, Lisa Borders' grandfather.
Lisa Borders, a WNBA president?
Yes.
That Lisa Borders?
That's right.
Wow.
Her grandfather was pastoring that church, and that started the organization. It started in our family, an organization, because we were the ones that were the staff. My mother was cooking the soup, and I was there taking pictures, and my brothers were getting the canned goods. I mean, we didn't have any volunteers. I mean, we did everything ourselves.
Right.
So I was responsible for cleaning up after the men would eat. I mean, it became a part of my life in a way that would play out later after his death in 2000.
Right. So you grew up in a trailblazing household.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is your father, or was your father, a civil rights iconic leader that we just talked about, but your mother served 4 terms in the Georgia state legislation.
Mm-hmm.
And she was, in fact, one of the first African American women to run to be a Georgia state legislator.
Yes.
So, when you were growing up, did you know what history your parents were going to leave behind? Did you understand what that meant?
Oh, absolutely not. I would say that I was just a girl, just like any other young girl, that wanted her father's love, wanted her parents to love her. So a lot of times I was running around with my dad when I was supposed to be home getting training on how to be a lady, how to sit right, what fork to use, etc. And I was out in the street in a t-shirt and blue jeans, going to jail, marching. And I have a picture of myself in 9th grade going to jail. Amy Smith, one of my staff members, has the picture. She showed it to me the other day. And when I look at it, I said, well, you know, the way I was brought up was really odd. It was very different because it was danger there, the element of danger, because people were getting killed. Right. I mean, my mother was in the car behind Viola Luiso, who was this Italian woman from Chicago and got shot in the head, and saw her get shot in the head. I mean, we had the Goodney Cheney Schwerner murders. We had other murders that I would see as a young girl, and I was like, well, am I going to get killed, you know? So I thought everybody lived that way. I kind of thought America was at war and everybody lived this way, and I didn't realize until much later in life, I think, you know, late high school or early college, that wow, that's over, is that over, or, you know? So I think it affected my whole life, the way that I was raised, and the women and men that I sat under, like at Ebenezer Church, listening to them preach and listening to them talk and listening to them plan and how brave they were. And that's all I ever saw. I never saw anything else as a young girl, and I left home at high school.
So you were one of 8 children, right?
Yes.
Your mother and father had 8 of you, and so were your siblings just as concerned about the movement and marching and getting arrested?
Well, I had a sister who lived in New York. Her mom was in New York, and then 2 brothers, and then so I would say no, because they were younger, so I was in the middle. So the eldest was pursuing her education, and the younger ones, my mother learned from me not to, and my brothers were out there, but my younger sister was just being taught how to be a lady. So I was in this unique position of being the middle child, and a lot different than my siblings.
Yes, a lot. Yes, it seems like you
was.
are. Would you consider yourself or call yourself the black sheep of the family?
I felt that way.
Yeah.
That's why my heart goes out to my granddaughter who's the middle.
Right.
Because I know what that's like. So you have to pay attention to the eldest, and you have to pay attention to the littlest.
Right.
But the middle is kind of wandering around saying, "Hey,
hello,
I'm here." And sometimes she'll stand in the room and go, "Ah," and so I think that I felt a couple of things. I felt a little rejection, because as we were going to jail, that's what our lives was. It wasn't anything else going on for me. And also I was sent away to high school, to a boarding school, because they had told my dad if I come back to jail, I will go to juvenile.
Oh no.
So I went to high school and I didn't come home all year except for like Christmas. So that does something to you as well. So it just was my luck of the draw. It just was my life. But everybody has something that they have to overcome, and I'm still overcoming. And so are many of the civil rights leaders that are left here. They still have mental issues as a result of being in the civil rights movement, as a result of being either raped or beat or hungry or in jail.
Or have a gun pointed to their forehead, or many other things that they have gone through. So, listen, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to continue talking to Elisabeth Williams Omilami and her husband, and we're going to start talking a little bit more about their foundation, Hosea Feeds the Hungry and the Homeless, and many more things. So stay tuned. Welcome back. You're listening to Seen from the Inside. I'm your host, Neha Negandhi. Today in the studio with us, we have the daughter of a civil rights icon, which is Hosea Williams. And we have Elisabeth Williams Omilami on the show, and her husband, Alfeo. Please tell me I said it right.
Famo.
Oh, Famo. I'm going to get it right, Mr. O. I'm going to get it right. But I have one more segment to go. I've got one more shot at this. Maybe third time is a charm. Okay, so listen, welcome back to the studio. Really excited to have both of you here. Elizabeth now is the CEO of her father's nonprofit organization, which is Hosea Feeds the Hungry and the Homeless. And they've been in that same spot in Southwest Atlanta for over 4 decades. 4 decades you've been over there helping feed the hungry, helping the homeless, giving out toiletry items. Since 1972, they have helped over 1 million people. 1 million people. That deserves a standing ovation. That deserves a big hurrah, hallelujah, amen.
Yay.
Anything that we can say to give graciousness for what you have done through this organization. However, the lease is coming up, you guys, on July 1st of this year, and we need to help this wonderful organization find a new home. So, if you are, I say this every time in every show, everybody has their opportunity to create social good. And if you want to help this organization, go to their page, which is www.gofundme.com/4 Hosea. The number 4 Hosea. I say this, I usually do not give these types of plugs, but I am going to give this plug today because your organization has to survive. And not only has to survive, it has to thrive in this community.
Yes.
The amount of homelessness, the amount of people that go hungry in this city, the city of Atlanta, it's sobering and it's sad. And we have to do our part to keep your organization alive and thriving.
Yes.
And for them to continue doing the social good that they are doing out there today. Would you not agree?
I would agree.
Right?
Definitely. And my husband, I think we were thinking that it would be better than it is today, but unfortunately it's not.
the situation is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And we all have to own it, and we all have to open our eyes as a community and understand what's going on, and look around us,
Yes.
and get outside of our bubbles,
Outside of ourselves.
yes, and look at the disparity in this city, and understand that we all own a part to help.
Yes, we have to believe that, because I don't know if it was Gandhi or Dr. King said no man is free until all men are free.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
what does free mean? Well, free to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Free to have children that aren't hungry. Free to not have to sleep outside. We are very selfish people. You know, I had something interesting happen. East Indian family came to my office. They had just had a baby. And they brought the baby into Jose Feed the Hungry for us to pray on the baby. Lay hands that the baby would grow up to feed the hungry. I was just shocked. I had never been through anything like that. And so I would be probably an actress in LA living my life, making good money, if it wasn't for what I feel is the grace of God that caused me to go this way. I didn't go this way because I'm all that special a person. I'm just, I'm selfish too. I just wanted what I wanted, but I did have the sense enough to know that when my parents died, and they died at the same year, a month apart, that Jose Feed the Hungry had to continue.
Yes.
Because I had been doing it since I was in elementary school, and my husband and I were volunteering there for 15 years for free. I mean, people think that we were getting paid. We were not getting paid because we were actors, and so actors are perfect volunteers because they very rarely work. We had been there. We were the perfect people to step in and say, this must go on. And I'm still there. I had no idea I would be there 19 years later, leading this organization along with my husband, doing what we're doing.
Well, I have to say that you carrying on the torch of your father is just as iconic as your father is. Because you being his child know firsthand what his struggle was and why he started this organization, and you carrying it on. That's why it just lights my fire when I ask the listeners, please don't let this organization go homeless. Please help them find a new home. Go to their GoFundMe page. Or if you can't, everybody can't write a check, and I completely understand that. But if you can go help them, you can go volunteer through them, or you can spread the word. There's so many other things you can do. But I believe in helping this organization. Right? So GoFundMe /4 their number 4 Hosea, HOSEA. All right? Okay. We're gonna come back to that in another segment. We'll give you guys the information again. But first, I want to go talk about both of your acting careers, right? I mean, you graduated from Hampton University, and then did you move to LA after that?
No, I came to Atlanta in '73 when I graduated, and they had this funding called CETA money. And we got the CETA money, and we started the People's Survival Theater. That was me and Byron Saunders and some other Hamptonians and other people here. And had not met my beloved husband as of yet. But that was very exciting, being able to come right out of college and go into your field and actually produce. We were doing something called lunch, I forgot what we called it, but we would take the newspaper, and whatever the headlines were, we would do a lunchtime skits and based on those headlines, and then have conversations about it afterwards. So my father had gone to China, because when they killed Martin Luther King, he lost it. So they sent him on a 17-country tour to take this medal of honor to these heads of state. And he saw Mao Zedong and how he used the arts to teach the people their history. And it just blew him away. So when he got back, I was getting out of college, and it was just the synergy was there.
So you do combine your love for the arts and your love for community activism.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, because like you said, you started the People's Theater. And
Survival.
The People's Survival Theater. And then you also produced some plays with your mother.
Yes, she wrote a play called The Life of a King.
Yeah.
And we toured with that play from every little town in Georgia we could get in. And so that was fascinating as well.
And now, Mr. O, this is your time to talk, because I know you let your wife do all the talking.
He does.
He does, and he's so sweet. He's a sweet gentleman. But tell us, what has this journey been like? You know, when you met Mama O, and you've been on this journey with her for a long, long time, and you're a very good actor. You've been in your own share of movies and shows. So, what has this journey been like for you?
I think it's been wonderful to see her evolve, because just because you're the daughter or son of a great civil rights leader, it doesn't mean you understand what your role is. Now, if you look at some of the sons and daughters of some of the great leaders, they didn't necessarily follow that path, because you have to arrive at what your destiny is, and she had to figure that out for herself, because at one point she had to say, am I doing this because people expect me to carry on this for my father, or is this something I'm doing because I want to? So I think she had a crossroads moment where she had to figure that out, because you simply can't just do it for others. You're going to burn out, and you're going to make some wrong turns, because it's all not for the right reasons. So I've watched her grow up and evolve into taking it on because she wanted to. And that's why my heart goes out to a lot of the daughters and sons of these civil rights leaders, because that's a lot of weight to take up, and some of them simply can't bear that weight.
Right.
And they go a totally opposite way. Right. So that's been one of the best parts about being with her. In September, it'll be 40 years.
40.
Yeah. And then to work with her every day.
We're together.
We've done movies together and TV together. So you get to work out and understand a lot about somebody. You know.
You basically grew
You're
up
being
together.
nice.
Yeah. Well, I met her father before I met her. I met him in '75. Going down there to find out what they're doing, and I got interested and ended up doing the play with her, and then we got married 2 years later after that. But I didn't know what I was getting into with that family. Put it like this: I did not have a clue what this would mean, and of course my life and destiny was changed forever, because I found out I loved it and I wanted to do that work. And then the good part, I get to get her, and we built a life together with kids and grandkids, and now we're preparing the next generation of leaders, my son and daughter, and to take over so we can go and speak to students and whatever else we need to do, and create plays, travel, and everything the next 4 or 5 years. So that's where we are right now. We want to make everything stable, get a place, make sure we're not going to go off the road, off the path, and then turn it over to very equipped and very knowledge and compassionate leaders like my son and daughter-in-law and my daughter, and then we'll go and live our lives as to what we need to do.
Well, I mean, that sounds really lovely.
It does sound lovely. Thank you for painting that picture.
Yeah, thank you for painting
we
that
got to
picture.
get there.
And on that note, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to keep talking about Elisabeth Williams Omilami and her wonderful husband. Welcome back. You're listening to Seen from the Inside. I'm your host, Neha Negandhi. In studio with us, we have Elisabeth Williams Omilami and her husband, Alfamo Omilami. Did I get it?
Yay! Perfect!
Yay! All right. Wonderful. Okay, so June is in honor of Father's Day. So I wanted to ask you, Mama O, what is one of your favorite memories with your father?
Well, I think the last time I went to jail, which I was the first black woman to spend the night in the Forsyth County Jail in 75 years, which is right up here at Lake Lanier. Yes. And we were picketing Oprah, because we had been up there and gotten beaten by the 300 Klan in 1987. This is in 87, the weekend before, and then she brings her show to town, not understanding where she was. And I was arrested along with some Klansmen and my father and another gentleman. And I remember them putting him in the paddy wagon, and I was just out of my mind screaming, "Daddy, don't arrest my daddy! Don't arrest my dad!" And he stopped and turned around and he said, "Would you stop making all that noise?" And I was like, oh, okay. So even as early as 1987, sitting in jail in Forsyth County with the KKK in the cell next to me, I had a Father's Day that was another way to connect me to what my future would be.
That is, wow, I love that story. I love that story. And so here we are down to our final question. What legacy do you want to leave for the millennials, the generation that is coming up through the ranks? What do you want to say to them?
Oh my, I would just say, don't miss life by thinking that you can live it without serving others. You will miss a whole part of the section of life that will give you enrichment, give you a purpose, give you joy. Because you know how it makes you feel when you see a hungry child, a woman sitting at a table with 6 hungry children that's been living in the bushes, and you're feeding her and she's giving you love. So don't miss it. Don't do it because I say do it. Don't give of yourself and your funds because we say do it, so you can experience what it feels like to be of service to others, and nothing can make you feel better than that.
Oh my gosh, we just can't end it on a better note than this. We just cannot. I thank you so much to both Mr. O and Mama O for the work that you have done through Hosea Feeds the Homeless and the Hungry. Once again, that GoFundMe page is called www.gofundme.com/4 HOSEA. You guys, if those words moved you, like they moved my producer Christina to tears, please go to that page, give your money, and if you can't give money, spread the word, right?
Yes,
spread
post and repost.
Spread the word. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neha.
Get more inside scoop by following us on social media. On Facebook and Instagram, we're at Seen from the Inside. That's SEEN from the Inside. On Twitter, we're at Seen from Inside. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Seen from the Inside Talk Show. Stay tuned for more.